Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Basketball Weekly.
Welcome to another edition of Basketball Weekly, the Talking Basketball podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul. Hello.
Hello, hello.
I was
Never
thinking
know which way round to say that.
I should do
then Basketball Weekly.
We should do a clap after I do the Basketball Weekly. I think we should do a clap.
You feel
after
like
that.
you deserve the clap, do you?
Yeah. Like, just let everyone know that wasn't a bad one.
You don't want the clap, mate. It's nasty. So, in the world of basketball this week, I mean, they've got two things going on. We've got a Final Four in the EuroLeague, but we have a separate show for that.
Yes, we have got our EuroLeague expert. He came into the studio. We recorded it last night, and that episode's going out, what, next week?
It's going out next week.
Beautiful.
So
all in time for the Final Four on the 24th, 25th of May.
Yeah, so that's going to be really good. That's all in the EuroLeague, so we won't spoil it.
Let's go, pal. You have to watch the episode to find out what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Let's go, pal, indeed.
Or Olympikos. Did I say that right?
Olympiacos. Yeah.
Olympiakos. There you go. Anyway, right. The NBA.
NBA is coming around the corner, and it's fair to say it's been an up and down week for me personally.
Why? What's happened?
Well, because Dallas were behind.
Oh, Christ. Look, we're
going in.
1 minute,
Yes.
26.
We're going straight in.
Hang on.
We're going straight in. No.
There you go. I'm playing that every time you mention Dallas. Jeez.
But look, they went down one.
What are we starting with Dallas for?
We're going West Coast because I want to talk about Dallas. And then they got it. They brought it level. Then they got another home game. So it's 2-1. I'm like, yes, the dream is happening. Now, I've got a dilemma because in the sweepstake, I've actually got OKC going through. But the reality, obviously, I want Dallas to go through. They've done brilliantly. Last night, Dallas played. OKC, unfortunately, drew level in Dallas. So now it's 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. But what's interesting about that is Denver and Minnesota are playing tonight. So that'll be going out tomorrow, basically, when this
Denver have
goes
come
out.
back.
Yeah. And so it's 2-2 in Denver as well. Now, I wrote down a stat that I was actually talking to you about yesterday. So when teams are 2-1 up, the team that's 2-1 up, 72% of the time, they go on to win.
Oh.
However, if it goes 2-2, the game 5 home court game, so whoever's on home court for game 5, they're the one that wins at 80% of the time.
What, that game or overall?
Overall on that series, not overall. So that unfortunately doesn't look good for me because Oklahoma have home court advantage. So game 5.
So that's Oklahoma and Denver.
Yes.
That'll
So
be-
that's
that's
Oklahoma
that'll
and
go
Denver. Yeah, basically Oklahoma and Denver.
Hey, Hawkeye got in touch with me again.
Did he?
Yeah, Hawkeye got in touch with me.
Oh, no.
I saw it as well. I know exactly what he was saying. So in game 3, Denver versus the Timberwolves. So I just had to pause it because I'm dying. Anyway, game 3.
You got to stop deep throating those chocolate bars, mate. That's
First quarter.
yeah.
The NBA might have done a bit of cheating, Mark. This is from Hawkeye.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is where I think the score is 19-23.
Yeah, I didn't look at the clip. I should have.
Minnesota score and only get given 1 point.
Now, is that
on the TV.
Yes, that's on the TV bottom bit, isn't it?
I don't know what it was in the arena.
That's what I want to know. I want to know what the disparity between that and that is.
It'll be interesting if they're tied together as well. I don't know if they'll be tied together or not. But also, it went down the other end. Denver score, I think it was a dunk. Someone inside dunked it, and they got 2 points. And it was whoever videoed it was just like commentating and going, "What's going on? The NBA is cheating."
And then
I told you.
And then it just went. Bloop.
But look, they thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't want that.
I think it got readjusted later, but it was a funny moment. But
I guess you must have, and this is going to sound really redundant for me to say, but you must have one person whose job, and all their job is just press the button. Did someone score? Yes. How many points was it? 2. 1, 2. That's it. Did someone score? Yeah. How many points was it? 3. Press the 3 button. Was it a free throw? Yep. No, he missed it. Okay, no points. So
That's why I said I wonder if it's linked.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is the people on the court. It'd be interesting if you are one of those officials. Let us know, because obviously we understand some bits in local league and in lower levels in the NBL in the UK. But what happens in the big arenas? How does the actual score get communicated to the scoreboard and then obviously to the media around?
I've got someone coming on the show who's going to be able to answer that, Mark.
Excellent. That'd be really good to hear.
Yeah. I won't go any further than that.
No, but it's really interesting, isn't it? Because
we've got a guest coming on from the talk about the setup of the NBL in Australia.
Yep. Excellent.
Confirmed today.
Excellent. But the thing is, those, like you've just said, where a ref will look at someone and give them a funny look. In other ways, people have that human error. So someone's not pressed a button. Someone's not added the score on. Something hasn't worked. Like, it's just natural, isn't it? It's human. But at the same time, if you're in a playoff game, you don't want stuff like that going wrong.
No.
Be like someone like, oh, there's a cat running on the court, or a pigeon flies in the stadium. someone lets a load of bats. That's what you could do. You know, like the old-fashioned ones where they used to like turn the locker rooms up like really high temperatures and all those dodgy things you used to tell me about Boston and stuff.
Boston Garden, yeah.
Do stuff like that, and they'll be like, yeah, we've put a hornet's nest in the shower room.
Well, that's a good segue onto the East Coast with the Boston Celtics. Hey, can I just say that there is a documentary, a 2 episode documentary on Bill Russell on Netflix. What an amazing documentary that is. And it talks about, obviously, a lot about his championship rings, the players that he played with, but it also goes into like the detail of all the racial prejudice he had, everything that he went up against in his hometown in Brighton and Boston and stuff like that. And
you got 7, didn't he?
You got 11, Mark.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I'm getting.
But it's an amazing documentary to watch, and do you know one of the big points that I took out of this, and I think I'm going to speak on a lot of listeners' behalf here, who will appreciate what I'm about to say. When I say I feel I could have played in the NBA in the 50s, I genuinely feel that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who look at it and go, yeah, 50s and 60s, I've seen the way Bob Cousy was bouncing the ball. Yeah, I would have dominated. I would have been considered one of the best point guards in that decade.
And no 3-point line as well, so that's always a win.
But there's a lot of people who would like look at that especially guards.
Yep.
And go, yeah, they couldn't bounce the ball. Now, one of the things that really stood out in this documentary, and I was like, wow, was the fact that the referees were so much stricter on the way you had to bounce and control the ball. So there could be none of this cupping, coming under at all. But then when they explained it in a little bit more detail, I was like, wow, that's why they're bouncing the ball the way they bounce it. And obviously that rule has relaxed over time. But that is why we look at it and think, oh man, our ball control is so much better now. But the rules were so much stricter or enforced in those days. Yeah. So when you see that kind of bouncing on the top, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, they can't. It was the cupping sort of thing, wasn't it? Even when, if you remember, when Iverson was started playing in the 90s, and people were saying he's carrying all the time because he could put his ball almost towards the side, his hand towards the side of the ball, where he was changing direction. People were saying that's a carry. And that's because they were looking still at the old-fashioned rules where your hand must contact that top, whatever percentage of the ball. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned this to me and I went and had a little look about it.
Well, I asked a ref actually, and he said as long as this is in Britain, so who knows, but he said as long as there's no advantage and the ball goes under, they're not going to call it. And I was like, really? Okay. So he goes, there's no advantage. I don't know. But I don't know if if that was just that ref. I don't know. But anyway, so it kind of put me in my place a little bit. So after watching that little part of that documentary, when they talk about that, I thought maybe I could not have played in the NBA in the 50s. Maybe I wasn't good enough with my dribbling ability. Maybe it was, yeah. So unfortunately, everyone listening, we can't play. We wouldn't be a star in the 50s or 60s, unfortunately. But man, Bill Russell was dominant. You see some of the things you go in his house, get out of here, boom! Like you watch this documentary, got so much respect, and obviously all the stuff that he did for the black community off the court is just, it's just amazing. So
he's a figurehead.
I would really highlight. If you got a spare couple of hours, is a great Netflix documentary. I think it's called Bill Russell, something like that. You'll find it. But yeah, where are we going? Oh yeah, Boston Celtics, Cleveland. How are they getting on?
Yeah, 3-1.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I don't know anything from last night.
Celtics won last night, and literally it was last night. So we were going to record the show the night before, but we were just simply too knackered. We had a load of interviews, and then by the time
these shows sometimes finishes at like
midnight,
yeah.
And
then we got the BBL weekly, and then the
that game was going on about an hour after that. So we were like, we'll do that tomorrow.
So 3-1. So that's
3-1.
over.
Now, what's interesting is that people are already
What's the stats
saying,
for 3-1? That's even more, isn't it? That's going to be like 98 or something like that.
Yeah, and we were saying about it the other day that there's only a couple of teams that have ever come back from that. Obviously, one of them being LeBron 2016, but his win doing that almost messed up all the stats because all the other stats were, if you take that out, it's something like an 85-90% chance. If you 3-1 up, you are still with the team that will win, even if they get another sympathy home game. You're going to win Game 7. Like, you will always win Game 7.
Not to give anyone ammunition, but I would say I'm not a huge fan of the whole GOAT debate. It's more of a laugh than anything else because they're two different decades. However, that in itself, where you had that Cleveland coming back from 3-1, that really contributes to the LeBron
Of course
case.
It does. It does.
More so because it's going up against the dynasty of that generation, that decade.
Yeah, it does. Like,
there was a guy who was it? Someone went out though. Green get chucked out for a game. I want to say he got chucked out for Game 5, so he wasn't around for that. But look, it doesn't matter. Look, they were 3-1 down. Everyone wrote them off, and they came back and won it. So that definitely goes to LeBron's course. But
so I won't say not the flag on the play for the Cleveland Cavaliers at the moment is Donovan Mitchell was out. He's had a calf strain. So I won't say it puts an asterisk on that one, but
no, it doesn't.
If the Celtics take the win, they take the win. However,
there's no asterisks on the Bucks.
However, they're going up New York and Indiana, and they're playing tonight, and that's going to be interesting because they're 2-2.
Yeah. I mean, look, Indiana. We saw it in the in-season tournament. They're great.
They are brilliant. And what's funny is that
there's a bit of heat. There's a bit of heat with these.
They don't like each other at all. And
you're going back to the 90s with all this.
Did you see Reggie and Ben Stiller? Did you see that clip? It's been going around. If anyone's listened to this and hasn't seen the clip yet, it's hilarious. Reggie Miller's talking on the camera, and they're like, "Reggie, you commentate for Indiana, and you have a history with the Knicks." And he went, "Yeah, it's fine." He said, "Look, I've owned Madison Square Garden. I've owned this place. I've owned the Knicks, so I'm not scared about coming back here."
Yeah.
And what's hilarious is Ben Stiller in the background is walking off. The famous actor Ben Stiller pointing at him, just going, "You, like, we hate you," and stuff like that. So then at the end of the game, Josh Hart comes up and he's like, "Hey Reggie, I think they're telling them to go F yourself." So you're like, "Yeah, okay." I picked up on that, and Spike Lee's getting him to sign stuff, and it was nice because it's like Reggie Miller's the original villain, whether you like him or not. I love Reggie because he played that villain so well, and he didn't care if he was hated. He used that as his energy to did he push off? Was he a player? Did he choke? All those sort of things. He was just so good at that.
Oh no, yeah, that was when he was going choking to Spike Lee.
Yep.
Yeah. There's
so all of those little things.
I think ESPN 30 for 30. There's a documentary. I think it's called The Indiana Pacers.
There's one with him and his sister as well.
I think that's the same. I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know. But there's definitely where it's like Indiana versus the Knicks. But it was the 30 for 30 series, and it's actually one of the best ones. But the rivalry those guys had,
exactly.
It was great.
So when he was back in he's like, "You haven't been in here for a while." He's like, "Well, neither of us have been performing that well, and now Indiana have got a good team, and so the Knicks would be good to see." It's just hilarious because you go, those rivalries, they're like 30 years old. They're not dead.
Yeah, but let's go
They
back
are
to your
still-
stat, actually. So,
Oh, yeah,
game
yeah.
5 in New York, and
So,
it's what?
Game 5 in New York, and it's 80% of the people who are
So this is big.
playing games. So this is the one where
Pivotal
if
game,
they
yeah.
break that, it gives them the chance. So 80% of people now would say New York are going to
I
win.
don't
this.
have this stat in front of me. However,
Going to
you've-
Madison Square Garden though, that team, that crowd, all of the other crowds on there, bar Oklahoma, who I will shout out, and this is me shouting them out, bear in mind I'm a Dallas fan, they had all of their fans wearing Oklahoma blue.
Nice.
All of them. So when you look at the videos, you're like, I got to respect that, because you literally look there and like, oh, I know where I am.
Yeah,
I
good.
know where I am. But the Knicks are lunatics. And it looks a bit like a EuroLeague game where they are they're frenzied. And they're just,
I'd say Indiana is similar as well at their home.
they're passionate.
You know, I really like Cleveland in particular. Game 7 in Cleveland, they gave out. Some teams do this every now and like little white towels that say the land on it or whatever it was.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know what? And everyone kind of holds them up and waves them around.
yes.
I love that. When you got like thousands of people doing that, that looks great. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I just think it's always surprising when I won't say not negate it, but just that different level in the playoffs. It's just the energy. Every single
Yeah.
game's got it.
So, what I was just about to say, I don't know the stat, and I'm kind of kicking myself because if I'd thought about this, I would have it in front of me to say it. It will be interesting to see who have won the last games over the last 2 years. Again, with these teams with like home court. So, for example, when you looked at someone like Cleveland Cavaliers and Orlando Magic over the last 24 outings,
Yeah.
it's been decided whoever's won it has been at home. So when you get to the playoffs, I don't think that stat is including the
No.
playoff that they've just had. But then you look at it and it's like they won at home.
I don't
got
think
to
it'll
game
work.
7. Cleveland came through. It'll be interesting to see what the numbers are like for all of these series. I mean, Boston are going to be through, but the others, it'll be interesting to see.
I think Boston would give you maybe a good benchmark. The other problem with the others, Dallas maybe could give you a benchmark as well.
No, but what I'm saying is Knicks versus Indiana, who has won the games? Have they all been at home this season? Because then that would say to you,
this season, yes,
your
okay.
pivotal game 5 is going to be won by the Knicks.
Yeah,
There's I'd say a higher
it was the Knicks. It was
chance,
the Knicks.
if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is the Knicks.
So
I think they were 3-1. I think it was. But the problem is the Knicks team are really good this year because they've had a restructure. Indiana's team are really good because they had a restructure. All of the team, OKC, why have they been good for the last 2 years? Because they had a restructure. So a lot of these teams aren't relying on any historical data, if that makes sense. Boston are probably one of the oldest in terms of the team being together, other than Porzingis. LA, they're probably one of the older teams together, other than that. And then people like Golden State and that, they're all out. They're all gone. Phoenix, gone. A lot of all these super teams they made, gone. Magic, actually, were probably one of the longest, but they had a lot of people together, and they're only like a year or two in, but they've been playing at least a year. Do you know why I think the Knicks work? It's because of those 3 guys. Those 3 guys all played college together at Villeneuve.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
And it's like they were playing 6 years ago together. They were playing together and they played for like 3 seasons and they were really good together and they gelled really well. And now you've put them on a team and there's a spirit behind it.
I think
They've got everyone in New
whoever
York.
wins that series has a chance against Boston.
I would love to see New York go through because New York has not had success in the NBA for a very, very, very long time. And I think that would be good for the sport because it's the second biggest
Boston
franchise.
aren't that good. No, I don't mean it like that. They're not that good. They are beatable. They're not a great team.
They're boring to watch.
They're not a great
really
team.
boring.
If you look at like from a decade, like 15 years ago, bloody hell, you know, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen.
Yeah, that was a super team. That was a complete Kevin Garnett super team.
See what I mean?
Total super team.
You don't have that. That was a great team.
Yeah.
Boston Celtics are not a great team at this moment in time.
No.
They've got good players.
Yeah, they've got some good
They've
players.
got good players, but I think they are beatable.
Oh, they're 100% beatable. I mean, at the moment, their biggest star is the captain. Is he the best player on the team? Not necessarily, but he's an all-rounder. He's I won't say like a LeBron, but he's an all-rounder.
I think they're beatable.
Yeah, he is.
I think you can give this to the West. I think whoever gets through the West are gonna win this. But anyway,
so
right.
who've you got? Do you think that are going to go through? Has it changed at all?
I have no idea. I can't remember what I put. I kind of gave up when I realised after round 1 I wasn't going to win it. I kind of gave up. But I would say
that's the spirit.
When you talk about NBA predictions and stuff like that,
yeah,
I was second in the sweepstake, Mark.
Yes,
second in the sweepstake, only beaten because of not getting the exact scores around right. I got some of them right, but I think now I'm a neutral. I'm a neutral.
You're a neutral.
I'm not too fussed.
Well,
I really like the energy and the story that goes along with the Timberwolves. I really like that.
That's very, very cool. I don't know if they've reached the end of their limit. You've got a lot of people who are starting. One thing I'll say about all of the series, every single person now is picking up injuries. Donovan Mitchell off of a calf strain. You got people in New York who may or may not be playing in some of their games. Luka busted his knee. You're in the Wolves. I think they've had some people where they might be hot swapping. You're seeing people now fatiguing because they've done the 82 games.
We're going to have an episode where you're not allowed to mention Dallas at all.
This won't happen.
At all.
It's not happening.
Like a swear jar for
Can
Dallas.
I mention Seattle?
No. And it's like a quid every you might as well bring £100 with you now. Someone says,
can't do it.
What do you think about this basketball? Well, in Dallas, they would be holding it like this. Anyway, so there we go. Let's see what happens.
Games, Denver and Minnesota and New York and Indiana, they're going to be huge, huge games.
But by the time we come to talk about it, we'll probably be in the conference finals.
Or dead.
So I've got some huge news as well for the NBA. Inside the NBA is looking to get cancelled with TNT losing its NBA rights.
Yep.
With everything. I've got to say, that is a shame. That show is great.
Yeah.
It is great. And if that doesn't get picked up, that would be a shame.
Well, Ernie is contracted to stay with the main, with TNT. The others...
Charles Barkley's not.
No, he's got that clause, hasn't he, where he can jump if he needs to. They've been doing it long enough time. I think they're great chatting together. There's no question about it.
Their chemistry is brilliant, and they've all got their own roles. Like you've got like Shaq and Charles always going up against it. Kenny sometimes in the middle, but look, they're all, they've got their opinions. And I love it. I love them. I love the chemistry of the show, and it would just be a real shame if that.
Do you know what?
Is lost.
I'm going to say this. There was a really good conversation, and I won't name who the commentator was or player at the time, purely because I can't think of it. But they were saying about whose generation of game it is, and he's like, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, all of these players, this is their game now. Like, we need to have people commentating for them who are that generation just before them, like Chuck, Shaq, Kenny. They are 2 generations beyond, if that makes sense. You need someone like Kevin Garnett, JJ Redick, LeBron. You need those guys doing the commentating for what is going on these guys balling, if that makes sense, because they're closer in it. With like Chuck and Shaq and those sort of players, they were playing in an era that just is just so far away from what is going on now. The way the game's structured, the way the rules are played. And it might be that NBC picks it up, which we know has got the it's the famous intro.
Best intro ever.
But there's talk of it going to Amazon. There's talk of it being on Netflix. Netflix have picked up some specials with WNBA and stuff at the moment, and there's also talk of expansions and all sorts of crazy things as well. So I think what is interesting is this could be quite a big step change in basketball. But we'll see. I mean,
we'll see.
The other thing.
Also, you're going to talk about your mistake on the socials.
Yeah, well, someone said I'd made a mistake, and it's like, no, it did. But I
Mark,
didn't.
we noticed your mistake.
Yeah, someone
you
noticed
said
my
the
mistake.
wrong thing.
I said it, but I typed the right
You
thing.
thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Yeah, I said about it being the NBA draft, but I just didn't put the word in that it was the draft lottery. I didn't say the word lottery, but I actually put in the description for the NBA draft lottery who got it, and it was Atlanta, for those who don't know.
I think it was like 3%.
5. I looked it up. 5% it was. Chance of them doing it. There was 2 teams below them, Detroit.
I think it was 3.
Was it 3 teams below them? But Detroit and Washington.
Could be wrong.
They were the third from bottom. But Detroit and Washington combined, their scores were the same as Atlanta's, like 36 or whatever it was. And they got the draft thing. And if you see the video, the guy's smiling. He's just like,
Wow.
He's like, he did not expect that at all. But that's their first one in their franchise ever. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
The first time Atlanta have ever had a round 1 number 1 draft pick. I was like,
no.
yes. That's what it's the first time in their history they've had that. They've won
Or they
the lottery.
trade it away.
Yeah, so they might have had it and traded it away, but this is the first time they've had the first in the franchise history.
Well,
I was
I got
that's
a great
surprising.
idea for an episode.
Oh no.
What would the NBA look like if the number 1 pick was given to the the lowest rating team? There's a great show there.
Oh.
So, you know, where you sometimes get this lottery where the lowest couple of teams doesn't get it and then someone else gets it, yeah?
Yeah.
A show about, like, let's say, I don't know, Michael Jordan ends up playing for Detroit or whatever it was in those days.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a good idea for a show.
Well, yeah. I mean, cool. And also, if we tie in with that then,
And, like, what players would have gone where?
well, in that case, let's tie in that. If we're going to talk about draft picks, let's tie that in with when the actual draft's coming up. And we'll also do who is the players who are the biggest people stepped over them in the draft.
Yeah.
Because,
Some big
like-
ones. Well, Kobe,
Yeah.
17th, 14th.
Something crazy like that.
Jordan, 4th.
Can you imagine that? It's like, well, what would you imagine? Oh yeah, I was
Dennis Rodman.
yeah.
He was quite late. Where was he? Damn it, I can't remember. But Dennis Rodman was
Wasn't
quite
he
late.
like down the? Well, he wasn't first round either.
I
was
want to say 22 was what popped in my mind, but I'm probably wrong.
he? But that is just. Wouldn't that be? Can you imagine being that person? Who are you? Oh, I was the guy who passed up Jordan. Hang on. So you had that as a yeah, but this guy's stats are amazing.
No, but look,
But
they're
that's
looking at
Michael
it going, I've got a point guard and I've got a backup for that point guard. I
Yeah.
need a
This won't
centre.
fit into my
I'll
team.
take the big guy. But yeah, I mean,
Can you
hindsight and all that, isn't it? But look, I gotta say, I've been talking to someone. Like obviously, I was in Adelaide and involved with the 36ers over there, which was an amazing experience. But one of the players that I saw was a guy called Trenton Flowers, very nice young man, and he was debating it at the time, what he was going to do at the end of the season. He is officially being spotted at day 1 of the NBA draft combine. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. A guy called Trenton Flowers.
Yeah, you mentioned he's going to be there.
So let's see. Look, I've got a little picture for you. There he is. It'll be really interesting to see. Going to keep an eye on seeing what happens with him.
Yeah,
And obviously you've got
Ronnie.
Master James there as well. We'll see what happens with him.
Do you know he was second in the vertical jump height. Do you know what it was?
Yeah,
no,
40 point,
Yeah.
top 5, I think, or 40.5 inch.
40 inch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. What?
The other one I saw was he hit 12 threes in a row. There's like a 3-point drill and it was 12 threes in a row.
That's
I don't know.
ridiculous.
I still don't know. Like I watched a few games just to see college basketball, just see what he was like, and I didn't go NBA player. You can see it right there.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
I think he highlights something in this combine. He's done he hit 19 from 25 on the 3-point star drill that they do, which is a great hit rate. 19 for 25. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, you should do it when someone's marking you though.
Boom, there it is. So here we go. You've got this great. You can shoot all the shots you want. Oh, can you jump really high? Yeah, you can. Can you play in a game? Oh, Can you actually add value in a game? Yeah. Are you going to be happy coming off a bench? Because you might just be a role player. Like your dad's one of the greatest all-rounders, and there's no one will question that LeBron is not one of the greatest all-rounders. But LeBron never really came off the bench, did he? Bronny might come off the bench. How do you feel about that? Like, psychologically knowing I'm sat here on the bench, I'm still an NBA player, but I have to come off the bench and just basically do a specific role.
It'd be really
and I've got the name James on my back.
Yeah.
And he is like, I'm never going to live up to him. I'm going into this game going, am I going to play 21, 22 seasons of NBA? Doubtful. Am I as talented as my dad? No.
If you were a chairman, an owner,
yeah,
and let's say he hasn't been picked, would you go, yeah, I'll take him? LeBron, you want to come play for us? Yeah. 10 grand a year. Done. You want to play your son or not? I just wonder if anything like that might happen.
Well, the money they bring in for jerseys is one element of it,
but is he going to get a huge deal? I mean, I know he's probably looking at staying in LA at the moment, but if you've got his son as a potential pick, you've got a huge card to play. If he wants to play with him that badly, that's a very big card to play. But I would imagine if you're in LeBron's shoes, you're going to be negotiating with the Lakers organization to be making sure that they have that pick or that trade.
Yeah, but how can you do it? So you could just go to Atlanta. You go, Atlanta have now got the first pick. They go, Bronny James.
There's no way he's going first pick, Mark. No way.
But they do it.
No way.
But you say that, but why not? If you're thinking tactically, you go, Bronny James. Because you know LA are going to give you every single thing that you possibly could want to get that player. You can go over and above because you go, LeBron wants to play with his son.
I don't know.
And then if not, someone else will say, all right, LeBron wants to go back to Miami.
New York.
No, some of the rumors were like Cleveland, finish where you start, that sort of thing. Or you go, okay, you want to go back to Cleveland? Great. Go back to Cleveland then, mate. Cleveland, what do you want for Bronny? And then to let LeBron, and then LeBron will be like, I'll give you what you want. You can have 2 draft picks. You can have this.
I don't think the organization will bow. I don't think LA or any organization will. We want LeBron and his son so bad for shirt sales for a year that they will give away.
No, but it's a very interesting. Yeah, but exactly.
But yes, it is.
Yeah, there's a big dynamic.
There's a bargaining chip, isn't
it? It is. Well, it is, but it isn't. Like you just said, because what if you were one of those? If I'm Jenny Booth, I'm not sitting there going, no, I run the Lakers. LeBron, you've got like 2 seasons in you at max. Once you're gone, you're nothing to do with the Lakers anymore. See you later. This organization continues without you. And so if you're going to maximise...
I reckon he's staying around.
Well, we'll see.
Player coach.
Well, do you know who isn't staying around? That's a beautiful segue. I don't know if you're meant to do it or not. My topic, just on the NBA, was about good old Mike Budenholzer.
Oh, yeah.
The good old...
Gone.
Well, he was gone, fired from the Bucks last season. He had 5 seasons with them, including winning a chip, which you go, he did well there and he coached them really well. He got off to a bad start, so they binned him off. And then they binned off their other coach. Then they've got this other one who they've just binned off. So the Bucks aren't doing too well coaching-wise. He's just signed with Phoenix. And he's still getting paid from his...
Oh, wow.
So he's still getting some pay from his other contract. But he's getting paid. And his contract is $50 million for 5 years for a coach. Like, wow, that's quite a salary, isn't it?
Yeah, big TV.
Right. So the guy he replaces at Phoenix, Frank Vogel, had just signed a deal. Yeah. He'd signed a 5-year deal and he was 1 year into it. Phoenix still have to pay Frank Vogel the next 4 years of his deal. So he's not a coach. He's not doing anything. And they're like, oh, we still got to pay you. Oh, we're gonna buy this other coach as well. So they basically just added $50 million on top of their other budget. And they're already paying $166 million for Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and for Bradley Beal. $166 million. So you look at that, then look at some of the people like Steve Kerr, $35 million contract for 2 years.
Wow.
Well, that's
an extension.
That's a golden parachute, isn't it? That's like give you 2 years, everyone's going to go farewell. You can retire at the same time as Steph. Steph's going to go out with that. Steph's not going to stick around and stay on the Warriors. They're toast. So you got those sort of things. Monty Williams with his 6 years at the flipping 78 million for Detroit, and then Detroit, where they come again? Oh, second from bottom of the season, and everyone's going on a minute. Don't spend it on a rubbish coach. Spend it on players. Give us players. Why are you doing that? So there's all these massive, massive coaching things going on.
Don't forget you had Eric Spoelstra. That they waited for his divorce to finalise, and they went, "It's 120."
I mean, that's Pat. Do you reckon that's Pat Riley's like, Eric, I got you, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But they're going to get rid of Jimmy Butler this year, because I don't know if you saw the comments, and it was the most perfect Pat Riley ever in an interview, where someone was saying, "What do you think about the comments that like Jimmy Butler made about the Celtics or something and whatever and that?" And he said, "If you're not on the bench playing, you need to shut up." And you're like, "Ooh, okay." Pat,
if you're not on the bench playing,
if you're not playing or on the bench, you need to shut up, because Jimmy Butler's off injured.
Oh,
and he's not. And Riley's like, you don't get to weigh in on any of the games or the outcomes if you're not even playing. And Riley's quite like,
yeah, don't want to get on his bad side.
No, because he's like, I run everything here.
One of the arguably greatest coaches of all time. Showtime Lakers.
But yeah, so all these
has he got one ring himself?
He got one. Was it New York?
One or two?
Was it no Lakers? He got one for the Lakers, didn't he?
Yeah,
he got one for the Lake. No, and then was it New York?
Oh, we did a whole episode. about the Showtime Lakers, so it'll be on there.
And then he went back to, and then we got it with the Lakers, obviously as a coach, but he had one as a player. I'm sure. I want to say
he had
New York.
5. So I think he's got 6 or. Oh no, sorry. Yes, you're right. So he had 1 as a player.
1 as a player.
5 with the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah.
And then he's got
Miami.
3. I think they had 2 in 3 years.
Yeah.
And then Shaq. Did they get 1 after they?
And then they got 2 after, because those 2 were LeBron's 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Miami
so
have won
4. He must have about 9.
I think he's won 4 with Miami and 5 with LA and 1 on his own.
Oh wow, he's got 10.
I think it's 10, something like that. 9,
he's almost caught up with Bill Russell.
If I remember, one of his Miami ones didn't have a star on it, and it's like he's not.
Oh, actually,
he's
sorry,
like executive something or other.
Yeah,
it's like
he's not as coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So coaching, he's got X amount. Player, he's got this. But still, how cool is that?
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Phil Jackson got one, didn't he? Phil Jackson got 1 as a player, and then he got.
I want to say he got 2.
Whatever it was.
He got 2 playing for New York. I think it definitely 1. I think it was 2 for New York.
It was in the 70s.
Yeah, and then he obviously went down the coaching room and got 6 with the Bulls.
And then he went to the Lakers,
and then
with Kobe and
3
Shaq.
or 4,
5. Kobe's got 5 rings, hasn't he? Kobe's got 5 rings.
Oh, mate, you'll put me on the spot. Let's find out.
I'm sure Kobe's got 5. He hasn't got Jordan 6.
It's how much has Jackson got? I want to say he was there 3.
I'm so sure Kobe's got 5, only because Shaq got them, and he would wind Kobe up saying he got 5 until then Kobe.
Wow. Phil Jackson possesses a grand total of 13 championship rings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 11 for coaching and 2 for playing.
Let's have a look. 13 rings.
Yeah. Kobe, 5 times NBA champion. 3 rings with Shaq.
But what I'm saying, you're looking at Kobe. Was Phil Jackson for Kobe's entire journey?
I'm not sure. I thought he was. Because it was...
so he got... yeah, so it was with the Knicks. What a great memory that is. 1970 and 1973. So 2 rings as a player for the Knicks. Then obviously the Bulls, he's got 6 championships. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're correct. 5 rings with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So where are the rest? 6, 13. Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
Nice.
Where are the rest? Got 13 rings. You're going, hey, Phil, where are they?
I forgot the player one at the start.
Phil,
so there.
You've got more than I can put on my fingers. I'd actually have to wear rings on my toes.
No one beats Bill Russell though.
What with 11? Yeah.
That's 11 in 13 years, and he's playing and coaching, but he's playing. This isn't, I've got half of them coaching, or
Yeah.
most of them coaching. This is, yeah.
Well, that's your debate, isn't it? Anyone goes, well, they got this many rings. You go, Bill Russell, then he's the GOAT. Done. End. No one's getting 11.
Followed by Robert Ory.
7.
7, yeah.
Robert Ory has got one more ring than Michael Jordan. Does it make that you mean you'd pick Robert Ory over Jordan?
I would say in defense to Robert Ory, he has contributed to those rings.
Oh, I am no
People
question.
go, Robert Ory, and I'm like, he hit some huge shots that contributed to that championship.
Those Lakers ones in particular, they're like daggers, those ones he hit. So clutch player, you've got to say he's probably number one clutch player. But at the same time, you can't just go on rings alone. And that's where the whole debate comes in. If you can't go on rings alone, then you can't just go on stats alone. And that's where the whole thing comes with Jordan and LeBron and Wilt as well. You know, people forget Wilt in that conversation. Arguably one of the best players ever. Kareem, same thing. It's just...
Wilt, did he get a championship ring? Yeah, did he? He might have one, maybe 0 or 1. I don't know. But look, Steve Kerr's another good one. 5 rings as a player.
Yep.
And then 4, obviously, with the Warriors. Right. There's a whole debate there, isn't it? Not going to get onto that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, the main thing is, I always just want to bring attention of like people moving in terms of their players. Because you look at me, you just think, why is it that all of these coaches are going? The Lakers coach, he's now gone, doesn't he? The second that last game where he was like...
I told you the week before he's going, when LeBron took that clipboard and went, this is what we're going to do. It was like...
He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. You go, he's gone. Then the Phoenix's coach is gone. Now other coaches are going. You think, oh, come on.
Right.
Don't blame the coaches.
Next Basketball Weekly episode,
yes,
we are not going to say the word LeBron.
Okay.
For the entire episode.
Or Jordan.
That's fine.
Really?
Mark, we can bring the GOAT up anytime. We're not going to say the word LeBron.
Wow.
The reason I'm just saying it is because every episode, everyone's still hey, LeBron, and it's like, man, they got out the first round. It's like, let's forget about it. It's just that whole Lakers and LeBron thing. We're not talking about it next.
Salty. I like it. I like it. It's good.
Right. You ready to roll?
I am ready to roll. Go tune into our listening. We've got loads of listening things. They're called podcasts. You can find them in the place you found this one. Go listen to more of them. That's an order. I've been Mark.
I have been Paul. And is anyone even following the NBA now the Magic have gone?
Owed me the badminton players.